Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to this new masterclass. And today it's another masterclass about automation, but this time, it's like elevating a little bit, leveling up a little bit from the first one. So if you remember the first masterclass, we discussed automation in general, and we showcased some scenarios. So today we're gonna level up a little bit and talk about one tool that I personally use all the time, which is called Make. Previously, it was called Integromat, and they rebranded to Make.com. I'm gonna leave you a link where if you sign up from that link, you will get some benefits. So I will share that later on in the comments. Now, without further ado, let's start this masterclass. So, first of all, I want, before I discuss Make, so Make is one of many tools out there that they can do automation. So, there's Zapier, which is also a very famous automation tool. There's another one called IFFF. So, if not, do what something like this, so you can Google it. Um, and there is Make. So the reason I choose Make, because in my opinion, for someone who want to avoid a little bit the learning curve and put his hands or her hands directly into the automation, Make makes it really very easy to do so. So of course, what we will discuss today. So I'm gonna cover the tool in general, some of the item menus and what you can do, some of the concepts, and then we will cover, I'll try if times allows to cover with you three scenarios where some of them I prepared partially, some of them we will build in from scratch. It would not take much time for us to do so. And I would be trying to keep my eyes also on the comments, so if you have questions you can ask that. If not, we can do another session maybe. Also, you can reach out directly to me in case you need any further information or you need any consultancy how you take this. And today I'm focusing on the automation. Mainly we called it for startups and SMEs, but actually this automation can be used by anyone. So everyone who likes to make his life or her life easier, they can rely on this tool because it saves times. It also, as we discussed in the previous masterclass, avoid doing mistakes, and of course it will free you from doing boring repetitive tasks. So as you can see, I have logged in. So just to show you, this is the site. So here, where you want to log in, or sign up, so you can do it from here. So no credit card required. So, and they have a very generous plans also as well, free plans. So if you see the pricing, so you can do up to 1,000 operations per month. I will explain all this. And it's for individuals who are trying to do automation. And then they have the core for individuals automating simple work, and it gives you up to 10,000 operations per month. Of course, you can add more operations, and I'll explain what operation is. And then they have the pro, and they have the teams and the enterprise version as well. And as I said, to be honest, even the free version is very generous, where they provide, I can say, pretty much decent features for you to try the tool and test it out. Now, once you log in using your credentials, so you can sign up either by your email, or you can sign up also using like Gmail or any other email platform like Microsoft also as well. So the first thing you will see is your organization. So this is your organization. It will show your subscription, and here you will be able to see, the price you're paying, operations per month, unused operations, and the billing interval. And then if you have a team, so you want to have collaboration, so you can have this here. Of course, this is depending on the subscription you are on, the users that are using, this platform from your organization, the subscription payment. installed apps. I don't have any. And variables, I will tell you the variables why we need them later on. And actually they are system, you would not use them a lot. So let's go back to the organization. So now, first of all, the idea of Make and even the other tools is to take simply two tasks and connect them together. So, for example, you want, once someone fills a form, to have an email sent, right? So we call this in Make, we call it a scenario. And the scenario can be one or more actions. So basically the scenario is, so you just sit down and you write it, how you are doing things today. So for example, let's say you are onboarding a customer. So the first thing, the customer is signed up using a form, then a welcome email goes to the customer. Maybe the third step would be adding the record to the CRM, and then last step is to schedule a call or maybe a meeting with the customer just to make sure that everything is fine. So this whole process in Make is called a scenario. So here where you can create the scenario to automate the things for you. And then here you can see, the previous scenarios that you have done. So you can see here all the scenarios I have created. You can create folders. So this is to uh, make them easy for you to differentiate. So you can categorize them, right? And here even you can create templates. So templates allows you to uh, make, if some of the scenarios are very close to each others, so you can also have your templates, or you can use some pre-built templates which are public templates here. So for example, there's a RSS to Telegram bot. So this sends a message from a RSS feed directly to a Telegram bot. Although like you can build it yourself, but if you want something ready made and you just adjust the inputs and the outputs that you want to have. So this is where you can use, or Facebook group to Telegram, email to FTP. There are a lot of, I would say, scenarios or scenarios templates over here. So you can feel free to use them. Or what we will do is we can go back here and we can start to create our own scenarios. Now, for today masterclass, I decided to build for you three scenarios, right? Now, before I start, let's continue here. So we have the templates, connections. So connections basically is your connections with the other apps. So remember that when you use Make or any other automation platform, you are connecting two or more apps together. So basically, for example, you are connecting maybe Telegram, email, and let's say Facebook. So you need to connect these apps. So you need to authenticate these apps to use um, the platform. And this is where you can keep track of what are the applications that you have previously configured here. Of course, like if you don't need that anymore, from security perspective, it's better that you delete this so you don't keep, the connections alive here. And then you have something called webhooks. So webhooks is for any application, and you will see it now in the scenario. So for any application that Make doesn't have it ready uh, today, but it has an API. So this is where you can use the webhooks to leverage the APIs inside your applications. And then you have the keys, and here you can see also which devices, data stores, data structures. So these are like more advanced stuff. And here are the notifications. So basically, sometimes if there is anything wrong with the platform, or maybe there is something which is critical, so here where you can see the notification. And honestly speaking, also from, I would say, documentation and support perspective, the support is also decent. Now let's come back and go to our scenario. So as I said, today I decided to showcase to you three scenarios. So the first scenario is a customer onboarding, but of course I'm doing it simple for the sake of time. I will give you example how you can expand this, and the other one is invoicing. So how you can send invoice based on some transaction that happened. And the last one, or maybe we will do that before, is a inventory tracking system or automation, let's call it. So in case, for example, a stock drops below certain limit, you want to be notified, or even you can send, to the supplier an email and order from the same product. Now, before I go here, just to show you how easy it is. So how do I create a scenario? So basically, as you can see, wherever you are in the platform, you see here, create scenario. So scenario, as I said, is the way you connect two or more applications together. So here you see the first thing it asks you to add, and just to show you how rich this is. So here you see tens and tens, even hundreds of applications that you can connect to each others, right? So of course, like, you don't need to scroll down. So it's enough for you to, for example, if I want to connect forms, for example, Google Forms, right? So I can type forms with Zoho Creator, Elementor. So anything that has form here, you can see it. And here I find the Google form. So here, for example, we choose. And within each application, there are some, I would say, triggers, and then there are actions. So the trigger is, here you are telling make what will trigger this action to happen. Some of the actions, they happen automatically, and usually they call them acid. So acid means it, as soon as a response is received, it triggers the action to happen. Some of them you can schedule them. Now it depends on the scenario, or let's say the process you are trying to automate. You would need to choose the right one, but usually it's very straightforward. So here, where you will choose the first one, for example, you say watch response, and this one, if a clock icon appears here, means that this, you need to schedule it, because it's not advisable to keep it running 24 by 7. And this is where the operations comes in. So each time you run automation, each one of the component, it perform an operation. So this is what they mean by the cap of 10,000 operations when we showed, their pricing structure. Now here, of course, you need to do a connection. So I have my Yasi Ventures, my company account, I have my personal account. So here I need to get the form ID, and the form ID, I will just come back to that section again. So you fill the form ID, and then once you do this, so let's just put the form ID now. So this is my form ID, right? And once I put this in, and I limit the maximum of results. So how many results I want to process at the same time. So here it depends, how fast you want to finish these tasks, or, it's better to keep it, on a moderate number, because you will consume an execution cycle and you don't want to miss up what went wrong. So for example, if I put 5 and a warning or an error come, the higher number here, it's, becomes more difficult to track which record was the problem. So I would keep this, on the lower end, if possible, unless you have a large amount of transaction that you are expecting it to happen. So let's keep it here for now, 1. So once I choose, so it start to ask me, choose where to start, because maybe there are previously filled form. So if I say from now on, so it will only goes and check, the results that will start to come from now on. If I say all, it will go and choose everything, even that was entered before I created this scenario. Or I can say it's from a specified date, or I can choose manually. Now, this form, I didn't put anything, so I can easily say from now on. Now, coming back to the form, just to tell you what this form. So this form is just a customer onboarding form. So here like if you are familiar with Google Forms, it's one of their tools. You can create forms on demand. And here I'm just asking, for the name, email, and this is a preferred date and time for meeting, right? So this is the form, and this is how it looks, in real time when you share it, right? And here you can send it also as well if you want. So this is the form. Now, what I want to do with this scenario, so I want, once someone fill this form, first thing I want to send a welcome email. So now depends here of which method or which email provider you are using. You can customize this. So maybe if you are expecting, and of course you might have a lot of customers you are onboarding. So maybe you cannot just use your Gmail or Outlook or something similar. So you might be relying on something like MailChimp, for example, right? So there is an integration with MailChimp. So you can bring MailChimp here, and you can create a campaign, for example, or you can create a merge field, or you can also list a member and send the email, create order. So you can do multiple things. Another thing you can rely, so there's something called SendGrid, for example. So I think, yeah, they have SendGrid. So you can also do the same thing. So you can create a contact, right? So you can create a contact. And then once you create the contact, uh, yes, add update contact. So you can do this. Now, I don't have a SendGrid myself, but if you have, so you can create a connection. So basically, it will ask you for the API key. And then once you do this, what will happen? This will be sent from there. But for the simplicity of this, what I will be doing is I will be using my Gmail. So here, I will send an email after the form is filled. So here I'm using my previously connected Gmail connectivity. And here you can see you have two subject content, and if you want an attachment. So two in this case, and see, already it detected, the fields in the form. So I have an email form. So this is what I care about, right? And here I would say the two is to the email. The subject is welcome on board. And then the content is hi. And here I have the name. Thank you for joining our company. We will send you a calendar invite as per your request on, so we prefer date at, that's it. So if you want to, you have maybe a company brochure or something like this, you can add it as attachment also over here. So this is pretty much possible. So once you fill this, you're gonna hit OK. So now I have the first part of my scenario. Now, compared to other tools, their free tier, they allow you to do just two, connect to applications. So, for example, Forms and Gmail. What is nice about Make.com, that even in their free tier, they allow you to connect more than one or two apps. So you can connect three, four, five, as much as you can. But remember, the more apps you have, you are consuming from the number of operations. So now this is our first step. So once someone fill the form, he will receive or she will receive this email. And then after the email is sent, remember that there was a time over there. So I want to create a calendar invitation, right? And here where, for example, I'm using Google Calendar. If you are using 365, you can do the same. So I say Google Calendar, and I want to create an event, right? And I'm creating the event in details. So here it's asking me which one. So I'm using my, let me check. Yeah, so I'm checking. This is my personal one. So it's my calendar. And event name is onboarding for, right? It's not an all day event. The start date is this one. And we can also put the preferred time, right? And date. You can keep it because we're going to say it's 1 hour. So this is, you can just type one, it's 1 hour, right? So this is the duration. So the format is 0100. Right. So this is the format for 1 hour. And we're going to hit OK. So now I have an email sent and a calendar invitation. Now, maybe if you want, so maybe you're using a CRM. So the CRM you're using, it might be HubSpot, right? So you can add your HubSpot. And here you can create maybe contact. Yep. I don't have a HubSpot, but again, same thing. If you're using something like, could be Salesforce, it could be maybe Zoho CRM, right? So plenty of applications. So the idea here is you make the onboarding very smooth. And now once this happens, oh, one thing we forget here is I'm gonna go to the advanced settings and let's see what's we can see here. So in the advanced settings, I can put some description, I can put location, or because we're gonna make it online, so I'm gonna add a Google Meet conference video, right? Here you go. So let's go and fill this form. So let's go and shorten this one and let's try to fill it. So I'll put my name. So I'm gonna choose maybe 15th and I want 4 p.m. And then I will hit submit. So this went now. So if I go, of course, as I said, you can schedule at regular intervals. So here you can set it once on demand, So here you can schedule it, how often you want to go check there is a new entry. But for the sake of this demo, we're gonna run it just one time. So here it detected. So I got an error here. And I like to do this. Okay, so the two, it's an invalid email. So let's see why. So it's an email address. I think I brought the wrong form. This is why. Yes. I should have I brought the wrong form. Sorry for this. So here we're gonna upgrade that. Okay, and let's try to run it again. Okay, so we're gonna fix this and put the answer. Okay, here you go. So this is the email. So it's good to run it like this. And here, let's fix this one because I believe it would be the same. So here, text answers, this one, and let's do this also here. So yeah, this is the value and this is the time. Here we go. Okay, now let's run it. Yeah, I always love when I have this SMTP thing. So now it should go fine. Yeah, it's sending the email. So here you can see the email was sent, and even I received. And here's the content. Hi, Mehmet, thank you for joining. And this is subject will come on board. So let's see what was wrong here. So the problem was the start date. Yeah, because I needed to, as you imagine, the start date is this one and the preferred time. So here we're gonna put it. And it should go fine. Here we go. So here's the invitation, and I get a welcome invitation, and it's right. It's from 4 to 5, and everything as expected. So here you go. So here's the first one. So this is the first scenario that we've built where we automated a customer onboarding. Of course, like you might tell me, yeah, but Mehmet, this is very simple. But as you can see, you can expand on this. Now, if you remember in the previous masterclass, also here you can put some conditions. So maybe if in your form, you can create some categories, and based on the category you have, what we can do is we can create some more complex stuff. You can put some conditions. So maybe if this is an old customer and you don't want to repeat the same thing again, you can set up a filter, and the filter says, for example, is check if returning. So if the customer is returning, so that means he left you for a while and now came back. So, and you say, for example, you're gonna check with this email, and you say, in the form, you'll have something here. You will add something. Are you a returning customer? And then based on the answer, so just, for the sake of showing you, so if I say the email is equal, let's say, right? So you say only do this if does not exist, right? And this does not exist. Actually, you can compare it, right, to your CRM. So you can customize this one. You get the point. Now, don't forget always you need to give, so live masterclass. So this is the name of your scenario, and then you need to save. And then once you save it, as I said, you can either, schedule it, or you can, run it manually whenever you want. So this is, the first one I prepared for you today. And here you see we have done one execution, right? So it did 12 operations. Each one of these is an operation, as I told you. So we have 12 operations that happened. Why? Why 12 operations? Because remember that couple of times it failed. So this is, it will count it. So now this is one operation. This is the second operation. And this is the third operation, right? And each one of this is an operation. And you can also check the history over here. So you see the errors, you can see the details, and so on. Now let's move to the other scenarios. Let's go to here. So the next one I prepared is an inventory one, right? So of course I don't have an inventory system. I'm not into retail, but just for you to get the point. So in the previous one, if you remember, I have created a basic inventory system using Airtable, which is another tool that it's for another discussion. So Airtable, basically, it's a very convenient database. You can build pretty decent no code applications on top of Airtable. It's not an Excel. It looks to you like an Excel, but actually it's a full-fledged database. So it's next generation database, I can call it. And what I have done the last time is I created this products and product sales. So this is where I track the sales operations that happen. So here you can see I have a product ID, product name, category, cost, selling, current stock, and here I can track the sales operations that happen. Now the idea here, what I want to show you is I want to keep track on my current stock. So I want every time this number change, because if you have an inventory system, this number is very dynamic, so it keeps changing. And to track this in Airtable, there is something called here last modified. So this is my trigger. So each time the this field is modified, I am sure that the number of items that I still have will change. So what I want to do, I want to build an automation that tracks this number, and if it drops below a certain number, I wanted to go take some actions, maybe sending an email, maybe send even a WhatsApp or it's go notify someone. Even maybe it can build or go build a full automation to order it from your supplier. So now same as we did in the previous one. So here I added already the Airtable. I had the connection. So in Airtable, this is the base. So the base is, it's the database in traditional language. This is the table I want to monitor, and this is the trigger, the last modified. So this is my trigger. It will go watch if something was modified, and once I have this, even I can limit to how many of these I want, right? So this is my trigger. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to decide what automation I want to do. Now let's say again it's sending an email, right? So let's make it simple. So we'll send an email, but we're gonna put some conditions here. This time I don't need to go read anything from there. I'm gonna put my email, and I will say the stock for this product is lower than the threshold. Please arrange for an order from the supplier. It's just an email. It's just sending an email telling me that I need to order. But I don't want to do it for every time because I have my threshold, right? So now this is where we're gonna use the filter. So the filter is stock below. So the condition is current stock, and here I have less than, right? And I would say 50. Cool. Now, if it is more than 50, it will not go and do anything. So let me manually change this number, right? So I'm gonna put it 100 instead, right? So if I run this, the same, oops, sorry. Just I'm choosing the wrong one again. So let me choose it. See, it didn't do anything. Why? Because it's less than 50. It's not less than 50, sorry. So the condition was not met. Now, of course, you are doing, your daily transactions. And by the way, what I can do to trigger this, I can create a new transaction here, and I can choose the product. Uh, Actually, I can do it from here. So it's a cell. Okay, so this is the product. And let's say the quantity is 51, right? So here, of course, I have another automation that does this, but now let's put this 49. Now, oh, let's see now. Aha, now it was triggered. And this is the email that went. Now, as you can see, once the stock went below certain threshold, it sent the email. Pretty much easy. So you can automate this. Now, if you are using something like inventory, so Zoho inventory, if you are using Etsy, if you are using Shopify, you can automate this as well. So you can track your stocks, and then from there you decide what to do next. So maybe send, even you can create an order. We saw it in HubSpot. You can create an order to your supplier. So you get the idea here. So what we do here is just we track an inventory, and based on a threshold that you choose. By the way, this number 50, I can also save it as a variable, and you can control this variable also as well. So instead of making it static, you can make it dynamic also as well. It doesn't have to be one fit for everything, because what you can basically do here in the database, you can simply add a field called uh, stock ordering threshold, right? Uh, and then say it's a number, and you say it's a integer, and you say this threshold is 50, right? And then here, instead of making this static, right? So what you can do, you set up the filter, and you say instead of 50 and less than, now let's refresh the database. So let's do this. So it should be refreshed now. Yep. So let's check this. Give it some time to get again. Last modified. Yep. So I'm just doing this to refresh. Now the field appeared. So now here I would check this is less than threshold. For some reason it's not coming here. Let's put less than again. Oh, now I get why, because I need to cancel this filter and then connect again. And now I can set up this. Yes. Here you go. I like to do this, like trial and error. People tell me why you don't prepare before, but yeah, like you can fix it out easily. So this is how I make it dynamic. So you don't need to put the number here. You can control it inside the database. Now let's move to the last. Yeah, let's save. That's fine. Let's move to the last one. And the last one is pretty much interesting. So here where maybe because you are still in the baby phase of your business, maybe you don't have still an invoicing system and you need something, to do it. This is a little bit advanced, I would say. This is where, we come into the picture. We can help you in setting this up. But the idea here is maybe you are still doing Excel or Google Sheet kind of invoicing. So the idea is I want to send an invoice to my customer and then mark it in my sheet as done. Of course, you might have a proper system, and again, we can automate this. But let me show you what I have here. So here I have a very basic Excel or Google Sheet. So here I have the order ID, customer name, customer email, description, amount, and I'm tracking if the invoice was sent or no. Now, what I want to do, and there are plenty of ways to do this, but the main thing I want to do is once I put the order in the Google Sheet, I want a PDF to go to the customer as an invoice and then send him an email and send him a link to download it or maybe even attach it and then go and mark it that it's done here. So let me show you quickly how I build it. So here, the first trigger for me is the Google Sheet. So here where I gave, my spreadsheet ID, the sheet number. Does it contain a header? Yes, because these are my headers and these are my rows. And I limited to one entry at a time. Here, a little bit advanced stuff because, I decided to use a tool called PDF Monkey. So PDF Monkey is a tool that allows you to generate PDF documents from unstructured data. So the idea is you can build beautiful PDFs. It's not the only tool. By the way, this one I chose because it's free and they have like also a generous one so they can generate 300 documents per month and 1 day document retention. There are other ways. If you don't want to use this, we have implemented in some places using Google as well. So you don't need to rely on a PDF generator. So it can be done through Google. But just today to give you like a taste of, some of the tools out there. So what we have done is we needed to convert, these entries into JSON. So here are the first step. So there's something called JSON here out of the box, right? So, and I am filling, which are the part that need to go in a JSON format. So the order ID, customer name, description, and amount. And then this is what PDF Monkey, it needs a JSON. So I'm sending the JSON in this format, right? And then I'm sending an email to the customer. So email, subject your invoice. Actually, let's add this for order. This is the order number. And you can download it here. You can do the attachment as well if you want, right? And then last thing, after I send the email, what I'm doing is here in Google Sheet, there's something called update a cell. So I need to update this cell, right, as yes. So how I'm doing this? Once the email is sent, I'm going here, I'm choosing my spreadsheet again. The cell is, remember, it's the column is fixed, F. But how I'm getting this? Because I know from here the row number. So this is where I'm getting the row number from, because when this is triggered, it's getting me the row number. So F3, F4, F5, right? Now, let's try it one time. So let's have the customer, Mehmet, and this is my email again. And let's say consultancy for make. Let's make it bigger. And let's mark all this as this format. And let's say it's like $500. I will not fill the invoice sent, right? So now I have a new entry here. Let's trigger it. It's working, working, working. Now, first thing I want to show you. This became a yes. So the invoice was sent. Now let me try to see if I can show you, yeah, here you go. This is the document. So 545, so yes. So this is I will try to open it in the same window so you can see it. Yep. Here you go. Of course, you can add your logo. You can do multiple things over here. So yeah, this is the the attachment that went to the customer, right? And you can see also here, this is, hi Mehmet, you can download the invoice. Even, I get the link, so I can press the same link and I can see my invoice. Again, you can add more complex things over here, but just the idea is to show you how you can automate these things. I wanted to do this one. Of course, there are a lot of other, like, more complex scenarios. Maybe, like, one of the things that you might want to do, like, add this email to your mailing list, right? So you add this email to your mailing list after the order. You can, a lot of plenty of things you can do over here. Now, as a bonus, I was not planning to do this, but I want to show you like something also as well. So what you can do is, um, you can, like, for example, use, I don't have access, but you can use WhatsApp for business. So basically, you can send a message to a group. Of course, you need the API. You can register a sender, verify a sender, get a business profile. If you are like me, you prefer um, Telegram. So you can also have send a text, forward a message. You can control groups, by the way, from here. So if you have a community and you want to do some controlling, you can do this from here. What else I can tell you? It has an integration. Um, so we have the webhooks that we talked about. So the webhook, it either wait an API to give some data or a mail hook, they call it. So once a mail is received, it will trigger. So these are some advanced stuff I wanted to show you. Also, you can automate with AI as well. So if you want to create some AI inside your automations, this is where you can use, I think, Entropy. Yes, Claude is there. ChatGPT is there, right? So we can help you guys in doing these kinds of automation. You can really do very, very advanced stuff with this, really advanced stuff. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this masterclass. This masterclass will be recorded. It will be available later on the YouTube channel, the CTO Show YouTube channel. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll meet again in a new masterclass. Thank you very much for your attention, and please let me know what you think about this masterclass. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, if you need help with your automation projects, some consultancies, we are ready. Just reach out to me directly. Thank you very much and meet you soon. Bye bye.